And we are back today again. Before we even get to this, I want to just let everybody know I'm giving y'all 2 for 2 today. Gave y'all a needle drop interview. Now I'm giving y'all Shawn Cee. I'm feeding a block with I'm feeding a block with the raw right now. You know what I'm talking about, man. I'm in the trenches. You know what I'm talking about. It's like a visual J Rock album right here, man. I'm giving y'all niggas digital crack right now, man. You hear me? So anyway, y'all already know who it is, but we got somebody on the phone. I'm gonna let him introduce himself, man. Who we got?
Yo, what's up? Shawn Cee. Eric, hit me up. Let's talk.
Before we even get into this review, before we get into this review, before we get into this interview, tell the people a little bit about who is Shawn Cee.
Shawn Cee is some dude, just randomly came back into music that he's trying to, basically develop a music taste. And, for a little bit, basically given his taste by the people around him up until a certain point, and made the channel kind of to save people money. Maybe maybe you don't want to waste your money on an album, or maybe you just don't know if you like something. You don't want to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours having to listen to it and then develop an opinion yourself. So that's kind of when I started doing it.
What a nice guy. I review albums. I don't give a damn about niggas spending money, man. You spending money. I'm not thinking about these niggas, man. Shout out to you for being a very nice guy. But no, before we even get into your YouTube and whatnot, I want to learn about you and your hobbies outside of music. Like, what interests you when you're not listening to music, when you're not making videos? What are things you like to do to enjoy yourself?
Well, for the most part, before I started doing this, which was funny enough because it ended up putting a camera back in my hand, I was heavy into photography. So for I say up until or starting at 17 years old, I probably messed around with a whole bunch of Nikon and Canon material, and I didn't really know really what to start out with. And I know one of their least expensive cameras at that time was a Nikon D40. It's like a camera you can get for $100 on Amazon. And you had these other lenses for it. And for anybody who knows anything about photography, you can just, as long as you have good glass, you can make, a solid mini photography career out of kind of like a hobby. And so for a little while I was just doing that, and it just kind of led me back into, doing YouTube stuff because I didn't really have a motivation to do things that I really wasn't interested in. Obviously, you have to work to support yourself. Obviously, I'm working right now, but it's really one of those things that stems from a hobby starting out as a little thing. In the beginning, I wanted to do video game design, then that translated into me drawing a lot, and that translated into me taking a lot of videos that, were just fun little skits with me and my friends. So it just kind of came back full circle. I've always kind of filmed in some way, so it just came back to doing something like this.
When you say that you started off doing photography, was it always with your friends, or did it elevate to you doing with the companies, or did it always just stay on a local friend level?
I probably just stayed to the local friend level for the most, because I think the one time I ended up shooting one of my coworkers' weddings, and that was a pretty big event for me because I was really close with my boss at the time. I was 16 years old, and I was working at a pizza restaurant. But I shot for their wedding. They were, renewing their vows, and then, my other coworkers decided they were going to get married. So I was like, oh, maybe, give me a plug. Let me shoot your little scene or whatever, and they let me do it. So it was a nice little piece of experience, and I would say if I wasn't doing that, I kind of would have lost motivation to do something with that little hobby. I think most people, when they're driven to do something, when it comes to their hobby and there's something more that you can make out of it, if you give them a motivation other than money, I think it'll last a lot longer.
Now, you said you were also interested in video game design. Do you play video games?
I actually had a channel for video games.
You did. I'm tripping. You did. Yep, you did. Yep, you
No,
did.
but not the one I have now. The one I'm talking about is the one nobody needs to know about from 6 or 7 years ago. And I had all these Call of Duty and Battlefield trick videos up on there, and I was just kind of interested in the mechanics of the game, how everything worked. And that's always been my personality when it comes to anything that I like to consume. It's always been on an inquisitive basis. So I'm always trying to get information on how this was made, and what inspired this, or what motivated the creator of whatever content to do this or XYZ. So that's everything's always started out as inquisitive or just wanting to get more information about everything.
You playing any games now?
I'm playing Detroit right now, the Become Human one.
Yeah,
That one's pretty good.
I was going to buy that, but I was like, do I want to waste my money on like a robot simulator? I didn't know if I wanted to
Don't
do that.
waste your money because you can watch somebody play and get the same experience.
Yeah, pretty
You know,
much.
if you want to watch different people play it from a different perspective and everything like that, you can get different story modes. But I wouldn't encourage people to buy it because you're gonna play it one time, you're gonna put it back down.
You play Fortnite?
No, I actually have not played that game yet. I don't want to. I want to get into it, but it's like, it's just kind of one of those. I don't want to buy into the hype, but like I do want to play it, but I just don't at the same time.
It was one of those games where I played it. I played it one time and I was like, okay, this is a terrible game. And then I played it again. Then I played it again and I was like, you know what? This might be one of the best games to ever come out in human history.
Oh, damn.
So like I play it all the time with my homeboys or whatnot. And yeah, I'm assuming you have PS4. You should definitely hop on one day, man. It's one of those games where you like, this is stupid at first, but it gets to the point where you want to win and you're like, it's like you're chasing for that W, and then when you get that W, you're trying to get that high again. It's almost like being a crackhead. It's like you're chasing for the high again.
Oh no, all the games that we ever play are all based on that crackhead experience. When you get to that point, like you number one in the lobby or whatever game you're playing, you just like fuck everybody else. You know, I'm not due right now, and I don't know if you like it more because like it's some games that I like used to shit on when I first started playing them. I'm like, this game is full of shit. Like they cheating in this. Like the developers didn't do this right. And then when I got better at the game, I was like, oh man, this shit is great. And then my homie started complaining. I'm like, oh, you just tripping. Like this game is amazing. You just bitching. You just not good or whatever. So is it like one of those experiences where you like play it for a little bit, you shit, and then you get better and you like it more?
Pretty much, it's like first, like if you have no experience on what the game is even about, which was I was about. Like I landed and I'm like, okay, I'm running around. I get shot and I die, and I'm just like, really? That's it? I'm like, what? So I quit after that. I was like, I'm not playing this again. Right. Then I played it again, and you get better at it, and you learn how to shoot better. You learn how to aim. You learn how to build. That's like the biggest thing. You gotta learn how to build. Hence Fortnite, and it's one of those games. Like I said, when you play it, you may hate it at first, but then you keep playing it, and you're like, all right, I'm rocking with this heavy. So I would definitely recommend that you hop on Fortnite one of these nights, man.
Yeah, I'll probably do something with it.
Are you a sports?
I probably have to.
Are you a sports guy? You play sports?
Nah, not like that.
Have you ever been?
Most sports like I played. I don't know if you're like you talking about video games or like real life.
Real life.
Because yeah, real life. All I probably did was probably track, and I think I tried for the basketball team once when I was in like 8th grade, but I never really cared for sports like that. Like I just like to run a lot. Obviously, like my frame is thin. I'm a taller dude, but that comes from like me running so much. Like I think it like changed like the format or like the form of your body in a little bit because my legs, it made me look like an avatar in a way. So like the more and more you run, the more lean you get. It just kind of makes it easy to. I guess it just kind of makes it easier for like that cardio experience. Like everything I do happens to be cardio, which is bad if you're trying to build muscle or anything. That's why I'm thin. So it is what it is.
I'm like really into sports, and everybody I interview always asks about sports, and you just look like a skinny guy that may be into something. And I thought, if it's basketball, he probably good at really one thing, and then everything else he probably bad at. Like he probably could shoot real good, cause like a lot of skinny niggas I know, like they're really good at one thing, and then they're just like trash at everything else. So were you really good at track? Like did you excel at that really good? Like are you super fast, or were you doing the 400 meters, or how were you doing that?
We did basically we did the 400 meter like, and I would try to do that, which was crazy in a way because I would try to do that in like I try to do it like the fastest imaginable time. Like I think I tried to train myself so much to the point where like I could run with weights and it not really affect me in a way. Basically there's this whole ring, but it's outside, like the old high school I used to go to. There's this ring outside of the actual training camp where people run, and it's a much larger ring than the one that people are supposed to train in. And when you want to run on that one, that's like for the professionals or the ones that are like, you want to go over there. You want to go over here basically if you're doing like football practice, because those are the ones that need the stamina the most. But we ran on those, and we probably did like came there on a Saturday, and we tried to do like 40 miles. And we almost died. It's one of those things that like you try it for a little bit because you think it's interesting, you think it's fun, and like it changes you in a way. Like I don't know how to really explain how track can change the way your body, moves. Like it makes you feel like permanently lighter. I don't know why it's really easy to lose weight just by walking. Anything that I do happens to deal with walking. So that's pretty much like track has affected me in like so many ways, and like unconsciously I don't really know how to explain even now. Like sitting here, aside from like my frame and everything like that, I'm probably burning calories just sitting here, like using my mouth, like drinking water. So there's always it's a thing where you can run for so long, and you can just lose calories just by doing nothing. Like I think track just changes your entire frame.
Are you? I know, like speaking of other hobbies, are you into like TV shows or movies? Like, are you a guy that indulges in a lot of that?
I'm an anime head.
Anime guy.
A lot of anime. I'm trying to watch Power right now. I'm not really, I try to every now and again. You talking to somebody, you might have to watch like a reality TV show or something like that. But I don't really find. I try to watch them like ironically. I try to just see if I can get some kind of comedic effect out of it without taking it too seriously. Because if I watch it and I try to get enjoyment out of it, I'll just get mad. As far as movies too, there's not really that many movies out that I have tried to see other than The Incredibles 2, and I still haven't seen that. My friend's been telling me that's trash, so I don't really want to waste my money. I trust his judgment on that. Other shows though, I wouldn't say that many. I don't really watch that much TV. So yeah, I try to. I think consistently, I get the most enjoyment out of like random shows that I'll find on HBO or anime, something like that.
Well, I guess to get into the YouTube, to see how I found you, I'm trying to think, how was it? It was like a long time ago. You didn't have a lot of subscribers at all. I think I had more subscribers than you, and I want to say it was maybe Damn, or it was one review you did, and it was early on, and I thought it was really funny. So I tried to kind of like big bro you a little bit. I was like, hey man, keep it up, man. You're going to be big one day. I see it. You know what I'm saying? Take you under my wing, I'll make you a man. I tried to big bro you. So, hey, it was funny thing about it, because 5 days after that, nigga, I'm talking about you was bing, like nigga, you had so many subscribers. I was like, what in the world just happened? It was like it was like the scene on Next Friday when Ice Cube talking to Uncle Elroy, and he's like, yeah, man, I was a nigga in the hood that said I was gonna stay in the hood, man. But when I got that money, I was gone, man. Like, you was gone. I was like, what in the world? So yeah, I low-key had to delete my comics. I don't need nobody see that, man. So yeah, was it as like crazy to see like how crazy your channel blew? Because it was one video where you didn't have a lot and it just went crazy. Like, was it crazy for you to see that?
I think for a little bit, doing the channel for a little bit, it was like I was paying attention to the growth. So it was like I hit 1,000 subscribers. I remember right like the same night or the next day I did my initial Bobby Tarantino review, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just pay attention slowly to see how this goes. And I think the next month I probably got like another 2,000 subscribers, and then the next month up until probably December 2016. I was growing at like a 2,000 subscriber rate like every month, and it was staying that way. And I wasn't really like a numbers dude, because even when I made the channel in the beginning, I never was like, oh, I want to be at 1 million subscribers in like the first year. Like, I don't give a fuck about all that. Like, I just want to make this, and I want people to hear what I have to say about it. But I noticed like the month that I started on the XXXTentacion wave, like that's when, like that same day, I probably got like 600 or 700 subscribers, and that shot up. I don't initially know if yours. I don't remember like at what point or how many subscribers I had when I did the Damn review. Unless like you're speaking of the right one.
I'm probably not. I can't remember.
Probably around January to maybe May was crazy, because I was at like 12,000 in January. And I got to like 64,000 or 65,000 by May. And it was like the growth at that point was just a little, insane. I didn't really know what to chalk it up to, because I just feel like people, anybody at that time, I felt like could have been doing or making the exact same content in the exact same way that I was doing it, because it's just, a reaction video. So I just felt like there was really no reason to subscribe to me. So my attitude was just a little bit more nonchalant. I didn't really kind of focus on like, oh, you should pay more attention to the discussion. You should pay more attention to, you know, the intricacies of this, and, you know, pay attention to their flows and what you want to talk about at the end of the album. So you're not just saying, you know, I like this or I don't. But I don't know, like the growth of it still surprises me, because I look at it now and I'm just like, that's nice. But I don't really look at it like, oh, I want to be at this, I want to be at this, because it's just like one of those things that I pay attention to, and it happens. I follow it or I go with it as it happens. It's not, you know, anything that I have planned, or I just let it take over for the most part.
I'm gonna tell you what makes you different, because you say that like anybody could did it. Now, 90% of reaction videos I hate. Like, I kind of hate watch reaction videos, so I'm pretty sure I clicked on yours to hate watch yours. Like, look at this guy. Like, look at this guy finna review it. So I think the thing about you is that you're actually funny to me. I don't know how anybody else look at you, but you're actually a funny guy. So when you make jokes, or like even when I do my reviews, like I don't make a skit in my review, but like I'll make a scenario in my head or whatever. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's like that. It's almost like, I tell people, it's almost like writing comedy at the point, because when you're making the jokes, you may do like a mini skit in the middle of the review or whatever. And I see you do the same thing, and I recognize that. And not everybody does that, because somebody could just like listen to like a Future song or a Drake song, and they just may quote the latest meme on Twitter and be like, yeah, keep the same energy. And like, this nigga, shut up. Like, you know, I just hate lame niggas like that. And I don't see you as a lame nigga. I see you as a nigga who is funny, creative, and has an interesting opinion on music. And I don't think everybody could do that. So I think that's what different.
Well, I think that's owed to, like I said, people who view content in that way. You know, when I look at content in that fashion, I don't think I gravitate towards it as much on my first experience. Like content that like is actually funny, or content that actually like involved a lot of work. I like watch that shit like probably 6-7 times to really like see if I can like feel this person's energy like the whole time. Because like when I do it, I used to, like in the beginning, in the very early stages, probably up until like 2000, probably up until like, I'll go further than that. I would say probably up until March of 2017, when that Drake More Life album came out. That's when like I said I'm gonna let my nuts hang, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like I see a lot of people that are uploading, doing the reaction videos or doing the review videos. I feel like they're pandering a little bit. And I just have some balls and just say how you truly feel, but just be extremely unapologetic about it. Like, just don't give a fuck about nobody's feelings. And I think as of late, or I've gotten to the point where it's like, you don't like what I said, that's cool. You know, as long as you're not disrespectful. It's just, I don't make a video with the intention of doing anything. Like, when I do a review or when I do a reaction video to something, like, I listen to it with the artist who I'm reviewing in mind, and all of my comments are in context to that person. So anything I say, anything I do, it's not trying to really capitalize off the latest meme, or it's not trying to capitalize off the latest shit that went viral on Twitter. It's really just me looking at the artist and saying, what can I say that's relevant to this person that will make this video hold its context? Because you can't do like these types of videos are really dry. So it takes like I would even say like you have people like Mallory Bros or Tabby, for instance, that make these videos that are contextual to the person that they're talking about. So you don't feel like you watching the same shit every time you click on the video. Like every video this dude or every video this chick is doing the exact same shit, and then saying, okay, you know, you're giving no opinion. Like with Future, for instance, he came out with a record, Beast Mode 2. I have nothing to say about this man.
Have you feeling the same way?
I can't make a video talking about, oh, well, he meant this when he said he hit the lick, or when he said the mumble rap shit, like when he said he was the king. Like, I can't make a video out of that. Like I don't have anything to say because he's not interesting to me. And I've tried earlier on. It's just, it doesn't come off authentic. It doesn't come off like me. So I try to like make content that's based off of an artist that I'm interested in or have some opinion on, I can't just make some shit on anyone. You know what I mean? And that's where certain styles of reviews and certain reaction videos have a bigger viewer base. They have a bigger, I guess they have a bigger following. You know, like certain albums, like the Drake record, for instance, that's nearing 500,000. A lot of people want to see that artist. He's a popular artist. And there's a lot to say about an artist like that. But somebody who's just as popular, or somebody who's like popular in a certain fashion, like Future, I don't have anything to say about him. There's nothing to say about him. Unless you have something that you could tell me or anybody else that will watch this video or a Future stan, I don't have anything to say.
Well, you're definitely sleep on Future. We can get to that in a second, though, because Future's I'm going to say top 5 rap artists of this decade. It's a fact.
Artists?
Top 5 rap artists. We can get into that in a minute. We got all night, man. We got all night. But what I do want to say is, when you say that people come to you not looking for the same thing, I would definitely agree with that. Unless that one thing that you do is super interesting. See, like I look at wrestling. And wrestling, you have a baby face, you have a heel. The baby face is the good guy, the heel is the bad guy. Now, for most of the wrestlers' careers, they're not always heel and they're not always babyface, because that will dry out at some point. You want to see them switch it up. So let's say if you hate an album, and well, yours is different because you don't know if you're going to hate the album while you listen to it, but I already know because I don't do a reaction, I do just a regular review. So when I'm going into it, no, I'm going to hate it, I just got to go full heel. I have to embrace that people are going to hate me for this. Like one time I reviewed a Def Grips album, people went off of me. Like a nigga made a Reddit thread and was like, hey, it was like, MC Ride, come fight this guy. And they like tried to set up a fight between me and MC Ride. I was like, yo, you niggas is wild. Like that nigga, because I think I said I wouldn't want to fight MC Ride in a fight because he got crackhead energy and that nigga probably don't get tired. And it was like, oh, he said he got crackhead energy, let's fight. And I was like, whoa. So when you have that type of, I guess, energy about you, people are going to either hate watch it, or if you're the baby face and people love you, people are like, oh my god, he's so funny, he's so this and that. But I don't know, I just feel like you can't be that same stagnant person, because people will be like, we know he's gonna do his 1-2 punch and then his finisher move and then it's over. So I would agree with you.
I think something to add to that is just like everything at some point gets stale. I haven't done this or I don't do this really with the intention of like, let's say I'm still on this channel and in 3 years, 1 million subscribers hits or something like that. And I'm like, okay, the premise of this channel is reaction video. The premise of this channel is him jumping up and down or him screaming. And I can criticize myself. I literally used to do that. Like that shit got boring and like whack really quick to me. And so the more and more, like I said, I kept doing it. I was just like, who am I really pandering to? Like, am I trying to get 12 to 15, 16-year-olds to watch me and say LOL in the comment section? Or am I trying to get them to be like, oh, this guy gets it more than everybody else? Like, I don't really give a fuck. I want to give my opinion. So after a little while, you start getting a little bit more outspoken. You start just laying it out there and saying how you really feel. Like, I forgot the last album I said was trash. I think it was either the Nav or the Playboy Cardi one. And I was like, I'm not about to sugarcoat this shit. Like, this is horrible. But I respect you if you like it. It's cool. Like, we could be cool. I got homies that I completely disagree with their music taste, and we still cool. Our relationship isn't built off of whether you like an album or I like an album at the same time together, or we can't be cool. We can't be friends. We can't, I can't look at you in the same way that I would someone who agrees with my music opinion. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's really just people that don't leave the house. These are people that literally sit there, that base their opinions of people off of whether or not he appreciates the album the same way I do.
I want to chip in on my fault.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to say, I want to chip in on you saying the 16 and 17-year-olds I want to see you dance. That's funny because, like I said, I don't do reaction videos. I'm usually sitting down or doing reviews. And I remember I had like a couple like white kids like DM me on Instagram. They was like, yo, dude, your reviews are hilarious. It'd be even better if you got up and did the Dougie and started dancing or whatever. I'm like, do you want to see a monkey? Yeah, so I'm like, these niggas really want me to start tap dancing for Massa. Like, these niggas like, okay, Massa, I'll start tap dancing for you. I'm like, no, man, for the start. Yeah, I'm doing the Tootsie Roll for you, man. So I don't know what's wrong with niggas, but yeah, that's an interesting thing you bring up. But back to you sleeping on Future, man. Lower Future. Yeah, I don't know why you would even talk down on a Lower Future like that, but
Hey,
he's amazing, man.
Future right can keep that fan base. There's a reason. You know, if he was, I'm not even about to. I'm not even about to do that. That was a bad joke. I
No,
had a
no, go
thought.
into it.
I was
Let's
about
talk
to do it.
about it.
No,
Let's
no,
talk
no,
about it.
no. That's gonna be a bad one. So we gonna skip. We gonna skip that one. But I think Future. Like I said, I think Future is like a cool artist to listen to when you're getting into trap music mixed with mumble rap mixed with, because he's not all mumble.
I was about to say, what is mumble rap to you? Because I wouldn't
Mumbling is
consider Future
literally
the
when
mumble
you
rap.
just, yeah, it's like mumbling is literally when I cannot understand what you just said. And he's done that sometime, but it's not his whole thing. That's not his niche. That's not his thing, or like the thing that he caters to.
Is there
Like there are
anybody?
people,
Is there anybody that does that though? I don't think there's anybody that does that.
there's not anyone that you could say is a mumble rapper. You can say that there are certain people who mumble rap from time to time.
I got an
Like
artist for
you
you.
can get who then?
Kodak.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kodak is not a. You think Kodak's a mumble rapper? All right,
No,
listen.
I'm saying he's like a guy who, like, sometimes he slurs his words, or you have to listen to it like multiple times before you understand what he just said.
So I have an extreme bias because I'm from Florida. He's from Florida. I understand him better. I feel like Kodak is. I feel like he's gonna go down as the best rapper of all time from Florida. So, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about that sentence right there?
I don't think it's crazy.
Okay.
I might agree with you because of his. I would agree with you because of his. What's the right word? Creativity, in the sense that he is the only artist, in my opinion, that sounds like Kodak Black. There is no Kodak Black wannabe to me. I don't really hear anybody emulating his flows or his cadence. I mean, I know the Florida scene is different, so you probably know of underground rappers in that area that may emulate his style in a way. I just feel like he's one artist that has that thing that I could categorize him as a guy who mumble raps from time to time. He still has extreme mainstream appeal, and I've heard his records. Like I said, like even on albums of his that I've hated and mixtapes of his that I've hated, there are songs in there that I'm like, okay, this shit bumps. I can grab this one. Like the last one, off the Project Baby 2. I think it was. I can't remember the song name. With X. I keep forgetting it. Roll in Peace. That was my shit.
Yeah.
That whole thing was based off of my love for the way Kodak was rapping on that song.
Well, I think this interview is a good time for me to educate a little bit on just about the Florida rap scene, just because a lot of people think Kodak created that sound. That sound is like very popular amongst Florida hood niggas. If you from Florida and you just happen to live in the hood and you a nigga, you probably go rap like that, because basically, like, I'm gonna say probably late 2000s, early 2010s, like every hood nigga just start listening to Boosie and they start listening to old Cash Money, and they combined the two and they all start rap like that. The difference is Kodak has done it the best and he's most consistent, because those niggas will release one good song that's crazy good, the rest of the songs be trash. Then one good song. Kodak, I feel like he's more consistent with his music, and he's also not afraid to take risks. So outside of that, they all have like a similar template that they took from, and they do their own little thing with it. But yeah, that quote unquote style that he has isn't very exclusive to him. That's just like you just will never hear these niggas like they got like extremely hood nigga names like Head First Keezy. Like you never gonna hear a nigga named Head First Keezy like on, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, the whole, I would say a good portion of the wave of like even Detroit is like based off of underground rap and based off of people like Doughboy Cash Out. You have people like Blade Icewood, especially, who I don't know if anybody like really wants to give him his credit for creating like the style, the flow in which people rap. There's like if you listen to like Detroit rappers, there's a way that they rap that's similar to like rapping that you would get from the Bay.
Yeah.
The beats are just different, and like I think for the most part that's another thing that really made me want to even make a channel based off that, because if I was 22 years old when Blade Icewood was still alive and I could have promoted his music, that would have been like the most beautiful feeling in the world to me, because he was a local act. People around the way knew him. He has some amazing songs. I think he has his one record. I only know the lyrics to it. I still don't know the song to it, because every time I try to go and look up the song, I look it up based off the lyrics of it. But it goes something like, "Doctor say I never walk again. That's fucked up, because them niggas that shot me up is dead. They never walk again, speak again, pray again. 7 times with a K." And it's like, you can feel this don't mean anything. You know, that's what I like about rap that's a little bit more underground, rap that you could take a hood experience from, because I guess it like it means something, and it's so true to the people in that area that listen to it. And you just mentioned, like I said, that whole Florida rap scene I have no clue about, and nobody ever really will, but it's based off of people identifying with, you know, that struggle. It's based off people identifying with the artists that are making that music. Maybe, like you said, a person can look at a Kodak Black and emulate, you know, his style, or maybe Kodak be emulating his come up or his environment in a way, by making or slurring his words or speaking in the way that he does, but it's based off him relating to that environment. And I've always wanted to prop up music that, you know, I could have, like, I had experienced in a way. So, you know, just having that conversation and just like letting me in on, like, you know, like I said, the Florida scene. And I don't know, is it still that way right now? Even if
definitely, because now everybody's saying, like, when somebody sounds like that, they're like, oh, you ripping off Kodak. Like, people from Florida even forgetting that that's an older sound. Like, they're just like, oh, like, it's a dude named Glock 9. I'm sure if you're like familiar with him, but he's getting really, really big. And
I think I heard one of his songs.
Really, and he sounds like Kodak, quote unquote. And everybody's like, oh, you a Kodak clone, you a Kodak clone. But really, they just don't understand, like, that's just how niggas rap and sound down here. So that's what. But Detroit though, y'all have a nigga so raw. I just want to meet this nigga and shake his hand, man. That's how raw this nigga is, man. Nigga, you know Cash Kid?
All right. Does he have braids?
Yes, that's Cash Kid.
I think I know what you're talking about.
His biggest song called, he be like, "On my mama, I ain't worried about it, bitch. On my mama."
I think the last song I heard from him though was like last year though. I know he's probably got new music. I need to go and look him up too, actually, because I did like him when I heard him.
Man, I'm talking about, you need to put people on him. That man right there is, I think he's one of the best rappers, like new rappers out of Detroit. Like, just like lyrical wise, like he just says some crazy stuff.
Listen to him, his punchlines were crazy.
He said AR with the silence at the end like a bad joke. Oh my gosh, man, that's crazy.
That's why when people don't understand, like, when you appreciate certain types of music, I'm not a simpy individual. Like, I can appreciate some R&B when I hear it. I can appreciate some Draking when I hear it. But when I hear, like, somebody give me a good hood reference or a good hood bar, it's like, that shit hits my soul.
Your soul.
It's like, oh my God, like, you really saying this to me right now? Is this what you doing to me? So I gotta listen to this whole song for this one verse or this one bar. That's why with the Black Panther album, when SOB and SOBXRBE got on there, he was like, I forgot his Chopper to Drake line made me go crazy, because, like I said, their flow is so reminiscent, or I could say, I don't know why their flow is reminiscent. I don't know if Detroit took it from the Bay or the Bay took it from Detroit in a way, but just that sound, and just when I get those types of lyrics, I go crazy over that stuff. That's why certain people, they watch the channel, they're like, oh, you only care about lyrics, you only care about this and that. It's like, I need something to hit me in a way, and I think I can appreciate that more when I hear it in you know, in terms of like words, in terms of people describing how they feel or describing what they mean. It's a lot easier to interpret words than it is to interpret sounds. So that's why there's a higher appreciation or a higher want for lyrics on these songs.
Well, like I said, you are a funny nigga, and one of your funniest moments to me, I think, came accidentally. I seen this, like I watched it, and I didn't find it funny, and then I watched it again, and with context, I was like, this is hilarious. And I don't know what happened, but the Madvilliany review that was controversial with the samples, hey man, nigga, I'm talking about, you had me in tears. I don't know why that video was so funny to me, but like, reading it in context, so let me explain how I found it. I'm browsing the internet, I see it on this KTT site, and they post a Reddit thread. I'm like, let me read this. So I'm reading it, and it was like, it was just like 1968 exploitation film. How would you know what that is?
That was funny,
nigga, bro. I was like, this nigga got to be laughing at this. So now, every time, like I said, I use like KTT, and I enjoy your videos, but niggas always make me laugh. Like, they'll post like, oh, Shawn Cee review. A nigga be like, did you notice the 1967 Peru film that was only showed in 2 theaters? I'm like, oh my gosh, man.
All right, let's get into that.
We gotta talk about that.
Let's get into that, because I'm excited now. Basically, and to kind of roll off the joke though, because that was funny when I first heard it, and when every now and again, like, they will not let you. They'll like try to be like, oh, you said this about this, or we exposed you, or we lied, or you lied, or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. Hold up, let me address this. At the time, the way I addressed it was just corny, so I give them that. The way I addressed it the first time, that was just kind of corny. The second time around, I was gonna address that Reddit thread. I was like, this is just not gonna do shit for me. Like at this point, the joke is already like solidified, and it's like making a response to the thread could be in your best interest as far as like clearing up your name, but the joke is out there, so you're not gonna rid yourself of the joke. So let them have a joke. And when I came back, like let's say 2016, I was doing all these older albums for the most part. A lot of people don't know I did the Freddie Gibbs and Madlib video, the Pinata joint. And when I did that one, the whole review is basically me talking about how Freddie Gibbs does a good job doing X, Y, Z, how Freddie Gibbs is doing this, how, I like his flow, I like the Jeezy diss, I like, the Danny Brown, I like Earl Sweatshirt in there. I like everything that, that album was encompassed with. But the only thing I didn't mention was Madlib. Yeah. The whole video. And I'm like, okay, the comment section are telling me, okay, Madlib is this amazing producer. Like, he's the one that made these beats. I'm like, all right, just kind of going in one ear and out the other. And they're telling me, all right, the next album you need to listen to is Madvilliany, if you like Madlib production. And I'm like, is Madlib the artist, or is Madlib the producer, or like? And then I'm like, who is MF Doom? Because this is coming from a guy who, growing up, did not have, like I said, his own music taste. I didn't start buying music until I was 14, and pretty much everything that I listened to up until that point was given to me by the people who I lived with. So either I was living with my mom, or I was living with my dad, or I was living with my grandma. And in that, I have 4 siblings. I have 4 sisters, sorry. I got 1 brother. Everybody got a different music taste that they had, and I'm the youngest of everybody. So I'm like, I gotta just gravitate towards what they listen to, grab what I want from over here, grab what I want from over here, and take it like that. So for me, when I did the Madvilliany shit, I was like, or when I came back to it, and someone sent me a thread that like, oh, they're trying to say that you did XYZ, like you lied about Madvilliany. I'm like, I wouldn't say I was offended. I would just say, like, I felt like Drake, I was like, the nerve, the audacity. Like, the whole time I was looking at the thread, and I was like, how do you make a whole thing, like, basically based off of a lie? You know what I mean? And then the more the joke, like, kept progressing, I was just like, I just felt like people were using it as a way to just say, okay, this person, like, his opinion means nothing, or this person, he can't make a comment about anything. But the whole video, like I said, is based off just my ignorance. And there was a couple things, like, in the very video. I wish I had the thread. Like, I really wish I had the thread to just pull up so we could, like, discuss, like, point by point. Let's go. Pull it up.
All right, man.
So I could,
the
like,
Reddit thread?
Yeah, the Reddit thread. Because I'm like, at that point, I was just like,
all right, here it is right here. So, where are we at? All right, so we got where's it? Okay, rainbows. Shawn struggles to recognize the sample, but says he thinks it's from an old movie or an old TV show. He works his way to the sample name, identifying as from the movie Finders Keepers, Lovers Weepers. This track, Kelly, is in fact Finder Keeper, a 1968 sexploitation film from our breast-loving director Russ Meyer. It's hard to believe that a 21-year-old YouTuber spends his time watching obscure large boob centric movie from the 1960s, and it's even crazy he could recognize one from many random instrumentation or from many random instruments from this film. At this point in this video, it's wholly unrealistic that he recognized these samples.
So, just addressing that specifically, even, and we could go to the rest. We can address that one in particular because that was the funniest one because that's the one that started the joke.
That shit was hilarious.
So I wanted to let them get their shit off. That's funny. They can make jokes about that one. They can get their jokes off. When they said that one, I was like, okay, they don't know, like, I've told my own subscribers this a lot, but in 2014, I had to go to the hospital in May because I had a lung surgery. I had to have a lung surgery because my lung collapsed. The medical term, pneumothorax, you have to have a VAT surgery. That's video-assisted thoracic surgery. You need a surgeon, all that blah, blah, blah. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I came back out, and I had a bunch of work to do. So I graduated when I was 18. I had a bunch of work to do left for school, like my finals, and I was doing it while I was recovering at home. Mm-hmm. One of the instances, like one of my assignments for my English course was we are going to compare, older and newer cinema. So I tried to find a film that was close to Hall Pass. I don't know if you've seen Hall Pass, the movie with Owen Wilson.
I know about it. Never seen it though.
Yeah, so basically their wives give them these hall passes, like, oh, you can go fuck around, find whoever. End of the movie, they don't end up sleeping with anybody. The wives end up getting fucked, but that's another story. And then I tried to find a cinema or like a movie that was reminiscent of that storyline, but done in a different way. So I went to go find like a movie that involved like scandal, a movie that had something to do with like infidelity, that was shot at an older time. Now there are other movies that are probably done, so I could see. I'm not mad at the fact that they were like, oh shit, like there's no way he knew what this was. It's just like I'm mad at the fact that they didn't ask.
See, I thought when I read that, I was either thinking he either just looked up the sample and just played like he was like trying to figure it out, or two, and they were just like, man, I gotta find these big booby bitches, man. See what these big booby movies looking like. And I was like, maybe
I did watch some burlesque movies that was shot in an older format. So when they said that, I'm like, yo, I don't know, this is actually true, but okay. And so when I was watching it, or like when I watched that movie, some of the shit in that film was just so exaggerated, and I wanted to kind of show like how you could tell a story if you take the shit, or you take the piss out of it, right? So I wanted to look at that movie, like Finders Keepers, Loser or Lovers Weepers. I wanted to look at that film like, okay, if they would have done less with the theatrics, if they would have done less with trying to make all of it seem so overblown and so exaggerated, the film could have been a good movie based off of infidelity and based off of like a real dangerous situation for especially for the club owner. So I was just comparing that to infidelity in the present, which is to make a more comedic effect, like the infidelity in the present is made a joke out of, basically. And I did the same thing with this Batman film, like the old Batman. I did basically a review. So I was doing reviews when I was 18, so they can fuck out of here. But I did a review to that track, Watch the World Burn. I think it's from Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard. And it's composed by both of them, but it stars in The Dark Knight, and that's the 2008 version of the Batman movies. And I was just basically painting these images or these narratives basically to say, like, this is how you can compare older cinema to new cinema, older music to new music, but just change the way it can emotionally manipulate the people who are viewing it or listening to it. Because, you or, like I said, anybody else can go and look at that Dark Knight OST or look at the original Batman theme song, and it's like you would not take Batman seriously with that bullshit they had playing back in the 60s and the 70s. But with this OST, you get a completely different experience because of how emotionally manipulative it is, how it takes advantage of the fact that, the sound of it is so tense. It's so, it paints such a suspenseful scene when you're listening to the music. So when they said that, it was just like funny to me, but the more and more, like I said, it kept going, it was used as a way to just kind of like, oh shit, like let's discredit this person because we can't believe that he would know this, we can't believe that he would randomly figure this out. But to your point, I've had many videos where I don't know where the sample is, and I'll ask my subscribers for it. I've had many videos where I'm like, yo, I don't know if anybody can give me information on this. I've had videos where I've told people before, these are certain songs that I've heard before, so I'm going to skip it, I'm not going to play it. So it's just like there's no benefit for me to... It's basically what I said before, like, who are you trying to cater to? Who are you trying to impress? At that point, I'm accepting that my viewership is like 15 to 17-year-old kids. I don't really give a fuck about how they view me. Like,
that's a fact.
You're 15. You're a kid.
I'm gonna tell you
your approval.
I'm gonna tell you how niggas live there though. Just because niggas don't know you like that, niggas only know you through music. So I feel like what you did, you kind of like you said, you was mad like niggas really like questioning me. I would feel that way too. But then you gotta take a step back and be like, these niggas really don't know me. So the story you just told me about the hospital thing, like you said, they should have asked. That was on their fault. But you know niggas, man. It's the internet, man. Niggas is not trying to ask. Niggas trying to get these jokes off.
And that's where I had to step back. I'm like, wait, you feeling yourself a little bit too much to be offended by some bullshit from people that don't even know you. So that's where I'm like, I just gotta take an L. And I ain't even do shit. See, I gotta take an L.
And it's coming from a nigga that rock with you. This how I looked at it. I looked at it either was, like I said, you either was looking at who sampled or something. That's why I was like, okay. Or this nigga is a walking who sampled. And this nigga can tell me every sample from goddamn 1940 basement music that was played in Hitler bunker or something. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this nigga knew everything.
Which is a good fucking joke. I like that joke. But it's like, I don't know, like there's even been videos I have where I've literally looked shit up in front of my subscribers, or I tell them like, hey, I'm looking this up, or I need to know who that feature was, I'm gonna look it up right now. There's videos that I've done that. So it's like at that moment I just had to realize like you need to like relax for a second because you're taking this shit too seriously.
But you know what else? You know what else you put in? You underestimate and just it's the internet culture we live in. It's the quote unquote cancel culture. Niggas is quick to cancel a nigga. Like you make one mistake in life, niggas is trying to get you out of here. So I'm not even saying what you did was a mistake, but just in general, you doing that, niggas is like waiting for a nigga downfall. Like as soon as you do something wrong, like let's say if you accidentally I don't know, you just did some wild shit. Like niggas would be like Shawn Cee, belly to belly suplex his auntie. We getting this nigga out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's how niggas is. So like, I think what you probably ain't realize is like niggas is quick to get you out of here. I feel like your response, if you came at it more comedic, I feel like niggas would be like, all right, I respect that. Yeah. I feel like niggas ain't respect the response.
And I look at that, I'm like, but I'm gonna leave it up there because they can roast me still. Yeah. You know, I'm not the type to delete my mistakes like they didn't happen. So like, the shit is up there. Like, you want to laugh at it, go ahead. It's always gonna be up there. But my thing was just like, I can't be upset. You know, it's one of those things like, I talk so much shit on music. How do I look as a dude who looks at music getting upset if somebody has like some shit to say? Yeah. And that right there is why I did not want to take my channel, in all respect, is like DJ Academics. I didn't want to take my channel in like the DJ Academics approach because I don't want.
You respect DJ Academics?
Shit about me? No, I'm saying like his hustle, like what he does. He's doing his thing. That's what we gonna leave it right there. Basically, what was I saying? Shit.
I threw you off. You was basically talking about you didn't want to take it in that direction that he doing it in because you got your own thing.
I looked at those celebrities that were upset. And I'm far from a celebrity, so I don't want to say it in that sense. But I looked at those people that were mad at him for posting shit that might not be true, and he didn't get full information on, and it's just halfway theories. I'm like, I don't want to do that to anyone. I don't want to talk about anybody's personal life. I want to talk about what they got going on. I really just want to talk about the music because I don't know these people. You know what I mean? And me coming from where I come from, you say something about, like I said, the wrong person, or you say it in a way that somebody might find disrespectful. When it comes to the information that you're putting out, they're liable to hurt you. Right. And I'm like, these dudes these are internet dudes, so they just must not know. I can't, I'm not, how do I look, trying to be like, oh, I'll beat your ass when I see you. See, like, look, I'm going to do this.
I learned that too. You can't blend, not really the streets, but you just can't blend real life and the internet because niggas is like cut from different cloths in real life. Like these are internet niggas. Like they cut from the IP address. You know what I'm saying? They're not really cut from that cloth. So when they saying something, they thinking they don't get no repercussions. Like I remember I did an X review and like I wish I had the screenshot. I don't have it anymore. But it was this nigga like went crazy because like I didn't like X17 of them. Nigga was just like, I hope you die. Hope your mother is a prostitute, and then I'm ordering rape her. I'm like, bro, if you said this in person, like, bro, you would be in a temporary meeting with Jesus. Like, bro, a nigga would send you to Asgard, bro. Like, what are you talking about right now? So, like, I just don't understand. Like, well, no, I do understand it, but I just feel like certain people, like, just niggas who's not used to it, because I'm still getting used to it. Because, like, I see stuff on the internet, I'm like, bro, why is this on the internet? Like when X dies and people record him dead, I'm like, why is that on the internet? Or not, you don't even have to talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it because I don't care. Just like a nigga like Academics on certain stuff that he talks about, because I'm gonna go in, man. I'm talking that spade talk tonight, man. So when a nigga like Academic just be talking his talk or whatever, I'm like, bro, why are you talking about this on the internet? Because like I know you ain't about like the stuff you talking about. You know what I'm talking about? So like, yeah, so when you blending in streets and the internet, like you gonna end up getting somebody hurt, or you gonna get hurt. And I feel like bro don't understand that. So like it's just stuff he be saying. It's just like the whole war in Chirac thing. It's just different stuff, and it's just like, bro, it's just I don't understand why. I feel like, how I'm gonna say this as perfect as I can. Somebody like Academics is a good representation of internet culture. Like, so, like a nigga like like a nigga like Vic Mensa will come up to him and be like, "I really think you a bitch." He'd be like, "My bitch," and then
I'm like, what? I remember looking at that clip. I was crazy. Like, yo, he just walk up to you and call you a bitch to your face and say, "I will slap the shit out of you," and you said, "In what sense?"
Crazy. But no, this how he internet culture though, because this the same thing that nigga do. He wait months or days, weeks later or whatever, when Vic Mensa nodded his face to go and make jokes about Vic Mensa, talk about Vic Mensa. But when the nigga came and call you out your name, then you just you know what I'm saying? You turn to Scooby Doo. So I just feel like the internet culture that we live in is really destructive when it start bleeding into real life. That's how I feel.
Right, and that's one of those things that like. That's where I had to step back, because I was like, wait a minute, this is a different breed. Like when I read that, even that thread that you were just reading, I was like, not only is this not going to do anything for you, but like judging based off the way you're reading, this is a different breed of people. Yeah, you don't really want to engage with this, because it's not going to benefit you, even if you happen to be right, even if you prove this wrong, even if they believe what you're saying, you're not going to win out of this. So just leave this alone. And that's why, like I said, the more and more I just kept doing my thing, and it's like the more negativity that comes along with the growth of anything that you do, more people are going to see you, more people are going to critique you, more people are going to find things they hate about you. And some of it is deserved, you know, like some people say, pretentious maybe? Yeah. I could say pretentious. Some people say that. It's like, okay, you know, I could take that. But I want people to understand, just like I talk about these artists, I don't want them to think that they're saying something that's new to the artist, or they're saying something that's new to me. Because I'm my biggest critic. You can't tell me shit that I haven't told myself already. And just like, you know, these artists probably go through these spells where they're like, oh my God, my music is trash. Oh my God, my music is, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to make this work. I don't know how I'm going to get this flow. I don't know how I'm going to get in this pocket. I don't know if my lyrics are banging, you know. And from my perspective, I try not to go at them as people, because it really is like a different, you don't want to accidentally become the cancer that you're trying to like cure in a way, or trying to stop from spreading. So when I see content like that, I try to make a point out of it, as opposed to just telling people verbatim, this is what happened. The same shit that they can read from TMZ or CNN or whoever, whatever big shit happened. I don't want to tell them verbatim what they could read. I always try to make a point out of everything. And sometimes I can make, you know, a video long-winded. Sometimes I can make a video seem like you're just pulling shit out of your ass. Sometimes you can make your video just seem awkward, you know. So it's like I can admit faults. I can admit things that are wrong with me or this channel or whatever. But music isn't about like trying to be right. It's just about your interpretation. You only have to give people your belief, what you feel. Obviously, it has to make sense. Obviously, you have to be, you know, in a space where people, or in a space for a certain amount of time where people take that opinion seriously, because you can't get on here in like 2 weeks trashing the Drake record and not have a fan base behind you that are going to support or combat the bullshit that's going to come your way from giving somebody like Drake a negative opinion. You're just going to get shit on. So you need to have time. You need to have, you know, enough opinion out there that people know for the most part what it is that you generally talk about, what it is that you generally like, without thinking that they know who you are, thinking that they know what you will like or what you won't like. So I just think in doing this, you have to understand the area that you're entering before you enter it, or else you could really fuck everything up. Like I could have literally just ruined this channel if I didn't understand. So that thing really they did was like one of the best things that could have happened for the growth of this channel. Because had they not done that, I might not have known that people really act like that, or people really look like that, or just talk like that in a space where you can't see them.
Another crazy thing about the internet is, like, usually at the end of my interviews, I transition like around this time, like, hey, if I do KTT fan questions, man, I put up I was going to do an interview with you. These niggas is going ham right now. So they have my expectations like am I missing something about Shawn Cee? Like, did I miss a video where this nigga was just like an a-hole or something? He's like, oh, he's just pretentious and this and that. So I'm coming to this interview a little nervous, like, you finna be, what do you want, you nigga? I'm like, oh, I ain't know what you was finna do. I ain't know how you was finna come at it. But I'm like reading some of these things, like, I'm gonna read them off. I'm gonna read a couple off to you just to see where you getting at, man. So let's because I feel like you see you a cool nigga, bro. Like a lot of niggas, I'm like, I don't want to read it, but you understand. You know what I'm saying? You an understanding nigga. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's see. So like the first couple literally the second comment is,
oh shit.
Ask him how long he been a bitch. Billy Not Really. Some of them are funny. Some of them are just like, that's crazy. Billy Not Really said, ask him about his encyclopedic knowledge of the French foreign film circa 1967. That's hilarious. Can you play him Praise the Lord and ask him what's the sample? Been looking for it for a while. Somebody said he's going to end the interview once you start asking him how you recognize those samples.
It's been fun. It's been nice. Thanks. Appreciate you.
No,
talk about this.
One of my favorite niggas said his parents' record vault must be crazy. This nigga know all these samples. Just going on.
I should go talk to him about it.
So yeah, it's just like, that's basically like, tell him recommend me the best Italian sexploitation film from 1968. Just a whole bunch of stuff like that. So and then like, one nigga was just like going off saying like how you're just like a bad guy, and I'm just like, whoa, I'm like, you must know this nigga in real life or something. Like he was just going in on you personally. Hold on, where's that's the last one we're gonna read, and we're going to try to wrap this up real quick, because like when you just read some stuff, it's just like wow, like nigga, you're angry over the internet, and I don't feel like you should ever really get angry over the internet, because these niggas can't touch you, bro. Like these niggas, you know what I'm saying? Like these niggas is over the IP address, man. You know, so. Here goes though. Kira, he says, ask him why he's trying to act woke and smart all the time when in reality he's a dumb fuck. He doesn't even understand artists' intentions or sarcasm or fun. At the same time, ask him how he can hate on good albums and hype up trash albums only because of the general reputation of the artist. So I guess that's a question for you right there, man.
Go off, sis. Basically, this, and that's a good like point of reference. Like, there are people, like I said, that have an opinion of, let's say, Meek Mill, I guess you could say. And I guess the previous consensus around Meek Mill was, okay, this dude screams a lot, or he talks too much about his rollie. It's like, and they'll skip an album like maybe Wins and Losses, right? Or they'll skip one of his mixtapes, or they'll skip a couple of his, a couple pieces of his music, a couple pieces of his art, and they'll judge like how he is currently. They'll judge like how he is without listening to his previous work, like his music that he just came out with, like the new EP, for instance. Yeah. And I still hear people echoing the same sentiment. I don't like the Drake album like that, but I still hear people saying, "Oh, I haven't listened to the Drake album. No, it's trash though." When I hear like that type of comment, these are generally, and I can't assume, but I will assume, these are generally, more often than not, people that don't watch my content like on a regular basis. So I feel like the most that they probably look at is like a reaction video, and that might be it. Which, you know, if you want to do that, that's fine. Yeah. But that's not the range of the content that I put out on the channel. One of the things that I do actually to avoid doing what he just said, shitting on albums, is to showcase them in the songs playlist to give people. Because I feel like reviews are generally based off of being right, and I like reviews. You know, there are some really detailed reviewers out there. There's some really detailed people that go in depth and go the extra mile to get that information, and they want to have a big, broad discussion about the album or the artist. I appreciate people like that, but you'll notice if somebody's generally negative towards an album, like I was negative toward Dialect, or I was negative toward Reckless from Nav, or you see Dead in Hip Hop shitting on Eminem for Revival, or you see, I'm trying to remember the last record Fantano shitted on. I can't remember. Any record that anyone doesn't like, the review it becomes based off of this person not liking the album. So there could be good tracks that are attached to a trash album or a trash body of work. They're not going to acknowledge it at that moment while they are reviewing it, because the point of the review is based off of, unfortunately, is negativity, and that's the artist's fault for making a trash album. But I don't want to say this whole thing is trash because I found one or a few things or a lot of things in it that I don't like. Eminem Revival, for instance. I didn't like most of the album. What I did like was Framed. I liked the last 3 tracks. Those tracks were showcased in that song's playlist video to show people that you can dislike a body of work and still like songs from it. You don't have to trash this artist. You don't have to trash this person. He still makes good material that you can listen to. Just attached to this body of work, it might not work. And so to avoid doing what that person just said, I go the extra mile to do that and include the songs that even are attached to bad records, songs that are attached to bad mixtapes, bad albums, so I can showcase the good out of it, to tell people, like, okay, this is what I like. But if you don't know somebody, or if the point, like, your focus is to dislike this person, you're not going to see any good in anything they do anyway. Like, you're not going to look at their content and say, oh, well, he, discussed this, or he talked about this in the right way. You're not going to see that. You're just going to go with the consensus that, whatever's being, I don't know what's being pushed on KTT. I don't know. I have a lot of jokes for KTT.
Let them all. Come on, these niggas let the whole, bro, I'm talking about these niggas got a 100-round drum clip. They letting it off on you, man.
I don't really have anything more to say than you are hiding it. You are basically on a thread that is dedicated to a motherfucker that said slavery is a choice. Even if you do understand what he's saying, knowing that this motherfucker doesn't follow history of slavery or anything like that, the fact that you are standing this man and you are on a thread dedicated to him, but coming at somebody for criticizing anything that person might do, it makes you look a little odd. It makes you look like a bitch in a way. But see, I can say that to somebody's face. I'm not gonna type it.
Talk spicy. I like it.
I'm not gonna talk. I'm not gonna type that and be like, oh yeah, like he's a bitch. He's a cunner. He's a whatever. I'm not gonna say that because that's not my way. That's not how I move. That's not how I've ever operated. So if you have an issue with somebody, especially personally, my way to handle it is to either, if I can't get in contact with you, I can call you, I can DM you. I like face-to-face, I like interaction. I like talking to people. And even another thing, like, I feel like in a way, there are some, like I said, subtle ways that other content creators have tried to shit on me or whatever. I appreciated, like I said, Joe and I's conversation. I appreciated, there's the people that I'm looking for validation from have already acknowledged me. So at this point, it's not like I don't appreciate the people that follow me right now, because I love all of them, all 350,000 of you fucking weirdos that literally subscribe to me. But I love all those people. I even love the people who are part of that KTT thread. I love the people that are part of that Reddit thread. But the only people I've looked for validation from, like I said, have already acknowledged me in that way. People, and because I think it's corny, like, giving people information. I really think it's corny trying to say I'm validated because I've been offered this or because I have this. But people don't know that I was supposed to, do the I can't even say it now. People don't even know I was supposed to do the Revolt show with Joe. That's coming up.
God damn. That's
like, nobody even knows. It's like I'm validated by people I really do fuck with and care about. I like these people's opinions. Joe called me on the phone. He was like, oh, I want to see where you're going. Like, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with that? And I'm pulling, little shit out of my ass because I don't want to give people information and let them know what I'm doing, because I don't really know what I'm doing. I base this channel around being a person to talk about music and have like a group discussion, a group dialogue. So my opinion is never scripture. You don't have to take anything that I say as the word. I just say what I say, unfiltered, not caring about how other people feel. And I would like to think that they would have, their same way of giving that opinion of things that they like and say it to me.
Well,
but respectfully.
You say that like you're more of an interaction, face-to-face guy. Like, you would say it in person. Are you a fighter? Would you say like you get into a lot of fights in your life?
I used to. It got old. It's one of those things that was like, it became like a question of like, what are you fighting for? If you're not gonna certain, and I don't like to view it like that because I'm not like an OG or I'm not no gangster or nothing like that. But like, it's a lot of shit that people don't know. Like just, and you just try to keep certain shit on the inside. You try to like to not like really let anybody know your thought process. But like, fighting was a thing. Now it's really not. I try to, blast it for no reason. And it's like, I feel like nobody has time for fighting. I don't have time to fight. At this point, if you threaten me in that way and I can reach you, that's a different discussion. I'm not going to fight you. But if I can reach you, that's a different discussion. See, I don't want to have it in that conversation like, oh shit, I'm about to kill all these motherfuckers that said anything about me. But if you're not gonna do it for that reason, don't do it at all. There's no reason for you to.
See, my homeboy Ken, he was telling me that I gotta be careful of what I say, because like I went crazy on like Playboi Carti Die Lit album, and he was just like, you can say whatever you want, but just know that niggas might see you in real life when you get bigger and just be like, I feel like you trying to take food out my my family and my mouth, so they might want to fight. So have you ever thought about that? Like, you just going crazy on a nigga album, and you might having to run into that person. They might want to, throw the hands with you.
I mean, that's a thing. I think it's all based off of the energy you put out and the energy you're expecting. Mm-hmm. If you expect this type of energy and you put it out knowing that people are going to get offended by what you say, artists specifically, or even their producers or whatever, because I've gotten into it with a couple of producers, but I don't really get into it with people online because it's corny if you don't fight or shooting or whatever. Like, if you're not going to die over it, like, be quiet, put it down. If I look at it from that perspective, it's like, only person that really had an issue with something that I said was X, and we talked before he died. We talked. He DM'd me after I did the "Look at Me" music video. I did a review to it, and I wasn't like positive towards it really, like, at all. And we talked and we corresponded. Like, he was a smart dude. Like I said, these are people that I've happened to interact with that, you might not be about the bullshit. I know you'll handle yourself, which is good, but he called me because maybe he understands that it's not going to get anywhere if I try to run up on this man. Mm-hmm. If somebody were to, theoretically, it's like, I don't want that problem because, like, yeah, I'll handle myself, but people look at you for a certain reason. Like, I'm like 145. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, if the dude would walk up on me like 210, I'm going to be like, yo, fight me. Because I'm not trying to be like that. But I'm not going to take disrespect either. Yeah. So if you walking up to me, like, if you walking up to me, you talking all this shit, and you think because somebody is, doing YouTube, or they do a YouTube video, or they talk in a certain tone, or they talk, using certain words, you think that's a way for you to punk them or use their size against them. That's not. I don't really, when it comes to respect, I don't look at anybody's size. I don't look at anybody from where they're from, who they're with. I don't really look at it like that. I'll, if we have to deal with those consequences, we'll deal with them after. But I'm gonna let you know, whatever you're trying to do, it's not gonna happen right now.
I'm gonna let you know off top. If you whooped a nigga in fighting, and then you went home and said that nigga had a trash album, you might be top 5 niggas all the time, man. Like, if a nigga run up on a reviewer, get washed, and then they go home and say, and your album trash, that nigga legit that nigga might have to stay in a bunker for the rest of his life, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I would definitely, get the news out. That's one of those things where it's like, you're causing an issue for yourself. This person who said XYZ about your album probably doesn't hate you. They probably don't dislike you as a person. They're not trying to take from you. Mm-hmm. But I think what people don't have in their head is, as somebody who buys music, you are entitled to talk about that music in whatever way you see fit. If it wasn't what you were expecting, trash that shit. Yeah. If it was what you were expecting, you loved it, praise it. But you don't have to hold back, and you spent your hard-earned money. You go to work. I look at time as money. If I worked for an hour to get $23, I don't look at the $23 that I'm spending as $23. I look at it as an hour of my time.
But do you honestly think niggas is looking at it like that? Niggas just looking at it as... I see what you're saying, but I had to realize that niggas are not going to put that much thought into it. They're going to see my album. Somebody's reviewing. Click on it. He doesn't like it. He has a lot of subscribers. he has people turning against me. He wants me not to eat. I'm mad. That's how niggas gonna look at it. You know, because niggas aren't trying to think about that bad.
And they can look at that, but we gotta set up a groundwork, like a rule. I gotta make you understand that at the end of the day, I spent my money to play your record. Even if it's I don't know how people really feel about streaming, but if I want to listen to a record or I'm anticipating something, I will purchase it.
Well, last question of the evening.
If Drake tried to run up on me on some bullshit, go ahead.
No, my fault. You was cutting out. I thought you had stopped talking. My fault.
Oh no. If I spend my money on something, I'm gonna talk about it in whatever way I see fit. You know, and that's really what it is. You can be offended. I put out content. You can call it trash. Like, that's okay. You wasted your time. If you feel like the content is trash, you wasted your time. You can trash the content. I can't be upset or mad over that. So, I mean, that's just what it is. You just have to put things out, knowing people, everybody isn't going to like it. Not everybody's going to gravitate toward things that you create or things that you think are good ideas.
No, what I was gonna say, last question of the night. Before we even get to that, I just gotta say you're a super real one, because I didn't even realize you had the Fleet Foxes right next to the Mick Jenkins. Niggas is sleep on Mick Jenkins. I've seen a lot of niggas. I tried to put my homeboy to Mick Jenkins. He was like, I don't want to hear that nigga rap about water all the time. And I was just like, it's crazy. I was like, come on, man. Niggas is sleep, man.
He put me on. Like, he was the one who got the whole... He's the reason. I need to give him more credit, though. He's the reason for the whole drink more water bullshit that I do on this channel. But people like him, like I said, go unnoticed. And that's why, like I said, that is like going to be like a regular thing where I try to... I don't know if I'm going to be like... Because these vinyls are like $40 a piece. But it's like... I kind of want to put the ones on that I really, really love. And the ones, like, I don't know. I haven't looked that up, even though I should. That's bad on my part. Buying these vinyls and these records. I know from independent acts it'll help them out, but buying them just feels like you're contributing to their art a little bit more. And I feel like the best of the best deserves to go up in the room or the wall that, you know, you do most of your reviewing or you talk your most shit. Yeah. I think people, if they contributed more to these artists, then they would understand where people who review the music come from. Because they pay for their streaming service and then that's it. They don't have to buy anything else. They don't have to pay for anything else. So they're not as invested, maybe. They might not get as angry. You know, they might not get as upset. They might be more passionate. They might be less passionate when they do like something because they don't invest into these artists the same way. So if Mick Jenkins puts out some trash, I'm shitting on it. Yeah. That's how it is. But they don't. I think the thing is they don't have to agree.
Yeah, they don't.
I tell people that all the time. You don't have to agree with it. It's okay. You're not killing me because you say you don't like my opinion, or because you say XYZ. You know, I can't view you as a credible source of information.
See, I mean,
it is what it is.
The last thing I'm finna say is something I don't agree with you about. I think that you were on the right. You're like on like the left end of tripping. But a lot of people are tripping. It's okay. Like, everybody can't be right like me. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. So, like, Lupe came out and said Kendrick is not a top lyricist, right? I think that is a terrible just opinion because, I don't know. I just think it's terrible. And somebody you put in the list, low-key kind of made me mad. I was like, you put this nigga in the list, but you don't put Kendrick in the list. You putting...
Talking about, I think I know what you're talking about.
Who you gonna say?
I was gonna say Proof.
Nah, cause I get it. You from that area. I get it. I'm gonna let you live on that one. I got it. You said Rakim is a top lyricist. That's crazy.
It's only really because of... See, and that's one of those things that, like, you look at somebody like him and you look at all the people that claim to be inspired by him in some way, and then I look at the material, the art that they put out. Now, I can't really view it in that way because you got people like, I don't know, Lil Uzi Vert, that's a combination of Kanye West and Lil Wayne. You got Chance the Rapper, who's, you know, basically heavily inspired by Kanye West and Lil Wayne. Kanye West and Lil Wayne did everything, pretty much. But for me, it's like, I look at when he said top lyricists, I love Kendrick Lamar. It's just, how do I rank, why do I have to put him in that category? Like, why do I have to put him in that conversation? Because realistically speaking, what is he has Section 80 he has overly dedicated Section 80, Get Kid, Mad City, It's Been Butterfly, Damn, Entitled Unmastered. That's a lot of projects. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's like, it's a lot of projects, but I don't feel like it's a lot of time. it's just I feel like I need time and like years and years of consistency before I can say this person is like a top lyricist, because you could fall off. You could start making trash. You could start putting out trash lyrics. You know, I look at Eminem as one of the greatest of all time. Amazing lyricist. Last couple albums, his lyrics have been kind of shoddy.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have to look at this individual from a consistency standpoint. Who do I get the most out of consistently when it comes to their lyrical prowess? And can you always put Kendrick in that conversation?
Yeah. You can't. You don't think? I mean, okay, features. I feel like he only tries for TDE members. If you're not a TDE member or you're not a friend of his, he's not really gonna try. But outside of that, I feel like yeah.
All the music that you're attached to. I'm not gonna say it like that, with the exception of like pop features. Because I know he did one with Adam Levine. That was trash.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And he didn't care.
Yeah.
But I can't even say that though, because the one that he had with SZA, All the Stars.
TDE member. What I just said. If you're not a TDE. But I'm just saying, if you're not that wasn't a feature though. That was like him curating the whole album. That wasn't a feature. That was not a feature, Rick. That was not a feature, Rick. That was not a feature.
No, we not letting that slide.
That was a collaboration, man.
It's trash, but Kendrick.
Oh my
like,
god.
This is that. Kendrick should be like right here. This is where he was on that song.
I feel like but that album didn't need overly lyricism because it's a soundtrack movie, so I didn't feel like it needed craziness stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
I mean, you know what saved that whole album?
What is it?
La-di-da-di-da, slap my knob. Say the whole album. That's all we needed. That's all we needed, man. You're not a gang member. You're a tourist, man. That's all we needed. That's all we needed.
All right, Sierra's ex can do what he want to do on that track. I've heard that way too much this year. I've heard it in 3 different occasions. I really don't like it, but it's funny. I give people that. It's funny. You're wrong for that. 'Cause that threw me off. Yeah, like I get it. I just don't think I love Kendrick. I don't think that he's in that conversation. I don't feel comfortable putting him in that conversation yet. And I just don't know. I don't know enough about rap to say that he's one of the best. I can't say that he's not, but I can't say that he is. Like, everything that I might not know makes me believe that he isn't.
I remember, I was going to bring this up, but I kind of skipped past it. I remember I wrote this down. I read somewhere that you said that you didn't really, what was it? Like, you didn't grow up in hip-hop, or you didn't grow up in the hip-hop era or something like that. Am I quoting you right?
Yeah, I just, for the most part, like I said, that adds to my point about, me gravitating towards the music that I was raised around. And I grabbed everybody else's music taste. So I didn't develop my own or really go hard with rap like that. And I mean, I heard the stuff that was on the radio that was really mainstream, but obviously records with MF Doom or Madvilliany, they weren't playing on the radio. So there was no access to them at that time. So it's I grew up listening to hip hop music to an extent, but not hip hop music that was really culture shifting or really changed the game like that. So I had to go back and familiarize myself with a few projects that ended up doing that, or people generally just said okay, yeah, these are the ones that really shaped how the game is moving forward. These are the ones that really shaped how the game is right now. But there's certain comments I don't think I would make because it's I'd have to hear. I'm not done listening to Black Thought's discography. I'm not done listening to who else? There's so many artists and people, so many artists that people view as lyricists, and I watched Black Thought rip that freestyle for that amount of time that he was on there, and I'm like, this dude is insane. This dude is crazy. Now I'm not saying Kendrick. What? Go ahead.
I just because you talk about lyricists, I don't even want an explanation because I feel like we'll go all day with this. Yes or no? Do you think Future is a lyricist? Just yes or no, because I don't even want you to go to tangent. Just give me a yes or no on that one, man. We can make a whole video about that, man. What you say?
Yeah. No.
Future's definitely. We only got to get into that, man. But Future is objectively speaking a lyricist. But we'll talk about that.
Man, you trying to get up, man. All right. See, you trying to see you one of those dudes. Is okay. you're gonna get the last word in a way that is like in a way that's like slick. Like you're gonna be like, oh okay, yeah, that's cool. All right, but you a bitch. Like you're gonna say some shit like that. Like you're gonna try to leave and like run out the room real quick so the person can argue with that. Like nah.
That's Vince Staples. Now that's Vince Staples do that a lot. Like if you look at his interviews, he'll like over talk somebody to death. He'll be like, so how you feel about McDonald's? They be like, oh, McDonald's really good. Okay, I hear everything, but he like going a whole tangent. I'm like, yo, this nigga's wilding. But I'm Vince Staples. I mean not Vince Staples, but yeah, Future is definitely definitely one of the best lyricists out right now, man. It's a fact. But I'll get into that. Young Thug. Future raps better than Young Thug, but Young Thug can also rap.
Young Thug will body Future.
That's Future body Young Thug going Super Slimy. If you heard Super Slimy, you know that.
I didn't, so I can't even argue with you on that. But I know I've always gotten way more enjoyment out of. Well, I can't really say that because Future's solo, like his solo body of work, have interested me. You know, I get more interest and gain out of his solo bodies than Young Thug's.